Caitlin Clark needs to flee the WNBA.
Unrivaled League needs Caitlin Clark, and they are preparing to offer her a massive deal.
The world of women's basketball is undergoing a seismic transformation, and at the very center of it is Caitlin Clark, the rookie sensation who is already rewriting the sports story. The evolution she is spearheading isn't a faraway possibility. It's happening right now, in real time, for all of us to witness. Fresh off one of the most remarkable rookie campaigns any league has ever seen, Clark has not only mesmerized basketball fans, but shaken the foundations of the sports world, forcing even the most established institutions to rethink their future. Clark's rise comes at a time when women's sports, long overlooked and underfunded, are finally beginning to grip mainstream attention with a force no one can ignore. Her explosive entry into professional basketball has given rise to opportunities that female athletes had only dreamed about a decade ago: financial opportunities, business ventures, global recognition, and true leverage against the structures that once limited them. But opportunities often bring choices, and these choices now threaten to redraw the entire landscape of women's basketball. A new league, aptly named Unrivaled, is positioning itself as both a competitor and a revolutionary alternative to the WNBA, and it could not have come at a more critical time. The league has crafted an unprecedented contract model offering record salaries, equity shares, and generational wealth options that the WNBA cannot possibly match with its current business model. The mere existence of Unrivaled has put enormous pressure on the WNBA's leadership, a league that has already struggled for decades to find sustained financial stability.
Caitlin Clark could receive a Lionel Messi-like offer to play in Unrivaled's startup 3-on-3 league.
When Clark stepped onto a WNBA court for the first time, it was clear that her presence would be different. She wasn't just playing basketball, she was creating a new narrative for the sport itself. In her debut season, Clark broke the single-season assist record, claimed the rookie scoring title, and orchestrated one of the great comebacks in Indiana Fever history by carrying them back to the playoffs for the first time in nearly a decade. Her performances became must-watch theater. Her highlights went viral nightly, and the ripple effect went far beyond the box score. The numbers speak to her impact. All 15 of the WNBA's most-watched games last year featured Clark. The Indiana Fever's playoff game drew a staggering 2.5 million viewers, numbers rivaling NFL broadcasts and smashing previous WNBA benchmarks. Merchandise sales skyrocketed, arenas filled night after night, and for the first time in years, the league became a central point of conversation in American sports media. But the most telling part of Clark's rookie season wasn't just the numbers, it was the energy. She revived the league, injected urgency into the fan base, and created a momentum that looked like salvation for a business model that had been bleeding money for 27 years. In many ways, Clark became the marketing arm of the WNBA, single-handedly carrying its public image forward.
WNBA and start her own league and to see, I'll add in.
And yet, for all her efforts, the cold reality hasn't changed. The WNBA remains financially fragile. The league has never recorded a profitable season in its history. And despite Clark's heroics on and off the court, projections show that this year will be no different. The WNBA Players Association recently triggered a seismic shift by opting out of the existing collective bargaining agreement. At the heart of their demands are long-held frustrations: fairer pay structures, greater benefits, improved travel accommodations, and a revenue-sharing model on par with male leagues. These demands are completely justified, but would severely strain the WNBA's already weak financial infrastructure. Without resolution, the league is staring down the barrel of a lockout. A lockout would not only cancel games, but risk unraveling the fragile momentum Clark helped build. Sponsors could flee, fans could lose trust, and the WNBA might struggle to recover, especially if its brightest star is tempted elsewhere. And that temptation is very real, because Unrivaled is coming. Launching with the backing of stars like Breanna Stewart and Napheesa Collier, Unrivaled isn't playing by old rules. It has introduced a bold 3-on-3 format with just 30 roster spots, ensuring that every game keeps the brightest stars at center stage. This structure not only increases visibility and playing time for stars like Clark, but caters perfectly to modern sports consumers who want dynamic highlights, speed, and constant action. But it's the business model where Unrivaled goes from exciting to revolutionary. Salaries will dwarf anything available in the WNBA. Ownership stakes will be part of player deals, building long-term financial security that athletes have never been offered before. On top of that, Unrivaled will operate during the WNBA offseason, creating a scenario where stars can play both leagues without being forced to choose. The WNBA pays her roughly $76,535 this season, with a minor bump to $78,000 next year. Meanwhile, Unrivaled is reportedly preparing a Messi-style package, an offer that includes not only massive guaranteed pay, but also equity, branding, and strategic partnerships that could allow Clark to become a billionaire over the course of her career. This isn't just a financial decision, it's legacy-defining. With Unrivaled, Clark has a chance to expand globally, elevate her branding power, and establish herself as the face of an entirely new era in women's sports. The WNBA, frankly, may not survive if she leaves. Clark brought life into a league desperate for attention, and losing her would be more than a setback, it would be devastation. Imagine the marketing campaigns, the television contracts, the sponsorships, all of it dependent on Clark stepping onto WNBA hardwood. Without her, the league's resurgence crumbles into dust. And the damage wouldn't stop there. If Clark jumps ship, it sets off a domino effect. More stars, Aja Wilson, Angel Reese, and others may follow. The WNBA could face a mass talent exodus at the very moment it needs to consolidate growth. Fans are not tied to leagues, they are tied to stars. Just as Lionel Messi's fans followed him from Barcelona to Paris Saint-Germain and eventually to Major League Soccer, Clark's fan base will follow her anywhere. Whether she's in the WNBA with Unrivaled or playing overseas, her millions of supporters will show up. They are not loyal to the Indiana Fever. They are loyal to Caitlin Clark. That reality alone makes her the most powerful athlete in women's sports today. Clark's choices extend far beyond her personal career. They symbolize a larger pattern sweeping women's sports globally. For decades, female athletes depended on a single outlet, often underfunded and undervalued. Now, with emerging leagues, global investment, streaming partnerships, and corporate sponsorships reaching new highs, the power dynamic is shifting. Athletes are finally holding leverage, forcing leagues to innovate or risk collapse. Already, companies like Amazon, Disney, and NBC have demonstrated belief in women's sports with an 11-year, $200 million media rights deal with the WNBA. But that optimism assumes Clark and her peers remain in the league. Without them, those billion-dollar broadcasts could turn into liabilities. This isn't just about numbers, it's about equity. It's about athletes demanding what should have been theirs all along: fair pay, ownership opportunities, and the ability to shape their own destinies in the sports industry. Caitlin Clark now stands as the face of this battle, a battle that will define the next era of basketball. Today, the WNBA finds itself at a pivotal moment unlike any before. The old model, one that accepted financial losses while relying on NBA subsidies, cannot carry the sport forward anymore. Either the WNBA adapts, meeting players where they are, offering fair compensation and respect, or it will watch its finest stars shine elsewhere, leaving behind an empty shell. Caitlin Clark, still at the start of what could be a historic career, holds the league's future in her hands. Her decision, whether to stay with the WNBA, embrace Unrivaled, or dominate both, will ripple far beyond basketball. It will shape how women's sports are structured, funded, and consumed for generations. One thing is certain, whatever she chooses, women's basketball will never be the same again. Caitlin Clark isn't just a player, she is a movement, a force stretching across borders, and the world is watching her every step. And in this rare moment, we are invited to witness history being made in real time.